Oh, I see what I did wrong last time. No wonder the live stream I was doing earlier was no good. I think the live stream I was doing earlier was no good because I did 1080p. So, so I went to get my double double. Here it is, the supposed double double. As you guys can probably see, it's hard to put it on camera because every time I move my hand, it goes the opposite direction. So that's pretty crazy. So here are the fries. These are the fries. So we're gonna talk about whatever. So I'm sorry I kind of closed down a little bit the live stream earlier. Probably nope. It's not because I'm cleaning it. Okay, so it didn't make a difference cleaning it. So I got this ketchup that I got from I think this is from Chick-fil-A, which the place I went to has a Chick-fil-A next to it. So I'm sorry that I missed your messages, guys and ladies and whoever's watching. I missed your messages because I deleted. I ended the live stream just because I was testing it out because I haven't done a live stream in a while. But today I'm doing a live stream because I won't be here the next couple of days. So maybe when I'm out there, I'll probably do some videos or wherever I'm at. But I won't be home, so we'll see. We'll see what I do. So here's the fries. This is the fries that people say that they're just like bland. I do think they're pretty bland because they're like not crunchy, not crispy. They're nothing. Oh, and just so you guys know, I got my soda, my Sprite, which is like, I think this was like a $2 or so. So I was telling you guys earlier while I was driving that people are moving to the Inland Empire. Really, like people are definitely moving in. People are definitely moving in, and it's getting crowded. I remember when I moved here, it wasn't that crowded, but now it's like year after year. It's just, whoa! I really didn't serve anything. I thought I served soda. I guess because I didn't put it to its side. I didn't put it to the side to get more soda without losing its carbonation. But let me tell you, people are definitely moving to the Inland Empire, and these people here are definitely taking advantage of the people that are living here. The reason for that is because the reason I know that is because they're putting fast track. They're putting it all over the Inland Empire. So now it's being put on the 10 freeway. I expect it to be also put on the 60 freeway. So the 10 freeway coming from LA, which you have West Covina, you got I think Claremont, Montclair, and Pomona on the 10 freeway, and then on the 60 you got Puente Hills, and you got I think you got Diamond Bar, you got Pomona also, and then you got Chino, and it's just getting worse. So you guys can say whatever you want in this video. You can say whatever you feel like saying, but I do have something to say. So here's my double double, which I just feel like it's like the patties are really thin, which I haven't had a In-N-Out for a while, but let me try it. I was planning to go to Jack in the Box for the cheeseburger and the curly fries, the cheeseburger, the curly fries, and definitely the tacos, the crunchy tacos. But then I said it's better to make the drive, like what, maybe 10-15 minutes to In-N-Out, and it was worth it. I feel like it's worth it. I feel like In-N-Out is always worth it because People say that it's like fresh, like the meat and everything they use is fresh. So let me tell you something. I do feel that In-N-Out is a little bit better than all the other restaurants. Like in terms of taste, I'm not saying that it's amazing and it's the best out of everything. No, it's pretty decent. But I got family members that always say In-N-Out is like the worst. They think it's like one of the worst restaurants to go to, and it's not good. Because there's people that live in Colorado. I have family members that live in Colorado, and every time they're here, they're like, "Oh, it's not good." And now that I think they put a couple of In-N-Outs over there in Colorado, and they still feel like it's like cheap. They feel like it's cheap. So something I do have to say though, while I'm eating, is that if I didn't tell you guys, I disconnected DirecTV after like having it for some time. DirecTV got disconnected. I was like, $180 is a lot. Okay, $180 is a lot for cable. Do I miss cable? I have to say, no, I don't miss cable. I never watched it. That's the thing. I never really watched cable. And I've always had Paramount Plus. I don't know how I have Paramount Plus, but what I did was I got service for Paramount Plus, like the lowest version, the $6.99 or $5.99 version, which I still have to say it's pretty good for $5.99. Then I disconnected it. I was like, I want to try it 1 month, disconnect it, and see if I like it. So after the month is over, I'll put it back, and I'll see if I like it or not. So I'm trying it for 1 month, where they say, well, I paid $6.99 for it, and then after the month, I'm like, I'm gonna check to see if I like it. Which they're trying to. What I don't like about Paramount Plus is that the only program that I don't like in Paramount Plus is Rugrats. Like I remember as a kid, I used to say, "Oh, Rugrats is pretty good. Rugrats is great." But now that I'm an adult and I watch Rugrats, I'm like, it doesn't appeal to me at all. Like, there's a lot of shows that don't appeal to me as when you were younger, that you watched it and you're like, oh, it's crazy, it's good. But now that you're an older person and you realize, why was I watching Rugrats? So that's how I see it. Plus, I'm the type of guy that has already been exposed to like these crazy movies out there. This is what I definitely like about back in the day. This is what I definitely like about being like back in the early 2000s and mid 2000s, like the 2010s. What I like about the early 2000s or the 2010s was because I used to go to the movie stores or to the like Target, Best Buy, and I used to go to these movie stores or electronic stores, and I used to just stand there and watch every movie. I mean, like look at every movie box, and sometimes I would just randomly go from one movie another movie and just pick them out and take them home and watch them. And now it's like it's a lot harder. But because I have Netflix and all these other ones, it's not. I'm gonna say it's not great having Netflix and having all these Hulu and all these other platforms. It's not that great as people make it out to be, because you end up losing quality. You end up losing the quality of the video. Okay, so I've noticed that videos can be like the real DVD can be maybe like 10 gigabytes or so, and when you watch it on streaming, it ends up being what, no more than 2 gigabytes. So by having it no more than 2 gigabytes, you're actually losing the quality. You're actually losing the quality of the video. So having an actual DVD is much better than having streaming. But the only issue that I have with having DVDs is that you end up having to make more space for them. You have to make more space for your movies. You have space and you run out of space. Like people that do collect videos and collect movies, and you end up losing space. It's like you gave it a huge space, but now that you put all your DVDs and your content, it's all like, I'm losing space. It's getting cramped. It's cramping. And what people do is that people have, let's say you have 8 Mile, the DVD version, and then you get the Blu-ray version of 8 Mile. And now I saw the 4K version of 8 Mile. So it's crazy. Nowadays they have 4K, and next thing you know, they're probably going to come out with like 5K or 6K or 7K. Because there is such thing as 5K. Apple has a monitor that's, I think, 5.2K or 5K. I'm not sure if it's 5K or 5.2K. So I do believe that they're going to come out with something else before they come out with 8K, which nowadays they already have TVs that are 8K, but it's too expensive. It's too much. 4K it's already, people say 4K is overkill. So I have an issue with streaming. Like I mentioned, I have a big issue with streaming. That you stream 4K content, and the reality is that when you're streaming 4K content on Hulu, on Netflix, on Paramount Plus, it's not really clear. It can say that it's 4K with HDR, with what's it called, HDR and Atmos, and now the new spatial audio when you're on your iPhone or on your tablet, and it's not that clear. It still looks like you bootleg the video. It's like you pirated the video, which is a big disaster. It's like you're paying $20 for content, but you're getting low quality content. And then the issue that I have with Hulu, the biggest issue I really have with Hulu, more than I do with Netflix, is that Hulu, you say, I'm going to watch a movie today, and say you want to watch a horror movie, or you want to watch a horror movie, and when you watch it, it's like they give you the option to choose a movie that you want to watch. But the problem is that they have a selection that's like from actors that are unknown, and like these videos have been shot on iPhones or on Samsungs, and it looks washed out. The colors look washed out, like when you record your cell phone out in the wild. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go out to, let's say, downtown LA, and I'm gonna record my video, and it's from 2017. So you recorded your video with a 2017 device or 2015 device, and you see everything look brown or oversaturated, and it's not good. It's not good when it's oversaturated. So like I said, some of these movies that are claiming to be the best or the top picks, it's not. It's like lower quality, and like I said, it looks like you're watching it. It's like you're watching it. You're watching an old video, like from like the late 90s or early 2000s, that had the colors brown and so weird. One thing I'm never going to deny, though, one thing I'm not going to ever deny is that a DVD is superior. I'm still going to say a DVD is always going to be superior to the digital copy. It's always going to be superior because you get the highest quality out of your DVD. You get the biggest picture. You get the best picture out of a DVD. And when I say DVD, I'm including 4K DVD, Blu-ray DVD, DVD itself. So that's what's nice about it, that you get the DVD. You got DVD, 4K DVD, and Blu-ray, which is pretty good. It's pretty good for compared to like streaming. It's amazing, but most people are not streaming because most people are not buying DVDs anymore because people just paid for streaming, and they say, oh, streaming is great. But I've noticed that it's not great. So let me tell you why I took off DirecTV though. My 180 bucks that was being paid for DirecTV. So DirecTV had Max or HBO Max, that's what it was called before, HBO Max, and they converted it to Max, and I got it for free. I had that app for free because I had DirecTV. And long story short about this is that with 180 bucks, we had the entertainment package, which that's what it was called, and then they had another package that was a little bit higher, which was like which had more channels. But most of the channels were just like cooking channels, like football games, soccer games, baseball games, and everything was just like what was it? Learn Portuguese or learn different languages, which was okay. But I never really watched DirecTV because like most of the stuff that we're showing on DirecTV wasn't good at all anymore. Like for 180 and just to watch American Dad, which I can still watch American Dad, and then there was this Adult Swim, which was not that great either because not everything on Adult Swim made me like wowed me. None of it. Like not a lot of things from Adult Swim wowed me. Cartoon Network didn't wow me either. To be honest, Cartoon Network didn't wow me at all. What was I gonna watch? Total Drama Island, I think that's what it was called. Like, come on, like it wasn't good. Like I didn't care for I didn't even care for Gumball, to be honest. Gumball wasn't even my favorite. Oh shoot, Gumball wasn't my favorite, to be honest. I didn't like Gumball. But I'll be honest, I'm from back in the day where I liked the original shows. Like the shows that I grew up on, like watching as animation or animated shows, I would say was the Batman 2005 series. I grew up on Shaolin Showdown. I grew up on Code Lyoko. I grew up on um, Courage the Cowardly Dog. I grew up on Codename Kids Next Door. I grew up on Johnny Bravo, Johnny Test, which Johnny Test is on Netflix, but I think it only went for two seasons, and people thought it was bland. People thought it lost its touch. They ruined the show, which I haven't watched it, so I have to watch it and see what people are talking about. And then what else? I grew up on Johnny Bravo. I definitely grew up on all the shows that came out on Boomerang. I definitely grew up on all that Boomerang stuff. Like, I still grew up on the Flintstones. And I'll tell you something. There's an app that Boomerang's created that supposedly has every show, and I've been on it, and it's definitely missing a lot of shows. A lot of the animations that they used to have, they don't have it, and they've tried it again. Like Cartoon Network, I think it was, or it was Boomerang that tried it. That tried to bring out like newer animations of Yogi Bear, or I think it was called Saturday Cartoons or something, where they brought new animations of Yogi Bear mixed with all these other animations in one show, and and I was disappointed because, like I said, I grew up on the original. Like the issue with Boomerang that ruined it was that I remember that it was classic. It was classic still. I think back in 2013, I think it was still classic Boomerang, like with all the shows of Yogi Bear, Top Cat. I think it was Top Cat, Wacky Races, and then they came out with Wacky Races again, like the newer version, which was nothing good. I was disappointed with the new Wacky Races, and then I forgot what was the name of this show that was, I think, was part of Wacky Races. This what was this name of the show that the guys from Wacky Races, the guy, I think he had a purple suit and he had a dog, and he would always be trying to capture this one girl. I don't know what it was called, but I don't think it's called Wacky Races. But it was very old. I think it was like from the 60s, which I do have to say that I grew up like on Popeye. I grew up on like very old cartoons. Like I didn't really grow up with like right now I'm not interested in none of the new cartoons at all, like the new animations. Like even Nickelodeon has new actors and new actresses, and everything is just completely different. I grew up on, like, to be honest, I grew up on Ned's declassified school. I think that's what it was called, or Survivor. Ned's classified Survivor school. I think that's what it was called. I also grew up on Ed, Ed and Eddie. I grew up on Jimmy Neutron. I kind of grew up on the Fairly Odd Parents, but then I don't know what happened. I didn't really watch the newer episodes. I just saw a couple of Fairly Odd Parents, and I thought it was pretty decent when I watched them. But the problem was that people didn't enjoy the new Fairly Odd Parents or the newer episodes, and then they had the Paramount Plus Fairly Odd Parents that really went downhill. The live action, that one was terrible. The live action Fairly Odd Parents, that was terrible. I have to say that was horrible. The Fairly Odd Parents. The new Fairly Odd Parents is horrible. But I think they canceled it in the end. I think that's what they did. They canceled the Fairly Odd Parents, which is good. And then I don't know what was in their mind. The guys that created Jimmy Neutron, they came out with like this other show. This, like, I think it was Estevez. What was his name? Jimmy's friend. That show was trash, man. That show was trash. I never saw it because I never saw that show, but apparently it came out on Nickelodeon and it was terrible. Terrible. They got the worst character and they sent them off. And supposedly Jimmy Neutron was supposed to go to space or something and try to bring his buddy back to Earth. But it was just terrible. Terrible. It's like, how can you get, it's like some shows. How can you leave the best character out and you bring out the worst character? Come on. Like, which other show was it that did that? There's like a bunch of shows that did that they spinned it off and they said, here we go, and let's make it, it's gonna be a good show. No, people don't like it. But I remember watching Fanboy and Chum Chum here and there, which I thought was decent, but it got canceled. Fanboy and Chum Chum, or I think it was Chum Chum and Fanboy. And then I wonder if I could watch that on Paramount Plus, Fanboy and Chum Chum. Which I think the Fanboy and Chum Chum was a decent animation, decent cartoon that reminded me sort of like Jimmy Neutron. The other thing I do have to say is that with Hulu is that they show movies, like I mentioned earlier, that are like supposedly horror, but they're unknown. There's like, no one has ever heard of those movies. It's like some cheap knockoff. That's the problem with Hulu. They have some cheap knockoff to like the real deal. That's how it works. Like, they have a cheap knockoff of the real deal. Let's say they came out with The Grudge, and then now they come out with some knockoff version of The Grudge, and they called it like the Super Grudge or the Scary Grudge. like some knockoff. Like last night, I watched this movie called Stalker, and it was terrible. The movie looked nice because it was shot, I think on. I'm not even sure if it was shot in an iPhone, but it looked pretty decent. And then there was some scenes, like most of the movies that are on Hulu that are shot on the cell phone, vertical, that they did some FaceTiming and it was recorded, or what was it? They're live streaming onto Instagram or some knockoff Instagram, or they're streaming to some knockoff YouTube. It's terrible. Like most of the movies are terrible. And then I think I haven't watched a lot of Netflix since I haven't had Netflix in over like 3-4 years, to be honest. I remember the last time I had Netflix, I watched Stranger Things season 3. But the problem with movies and DVDs and all these things is that I never got to see the show Stranger Things season 3 on DVD, like on the 4K. I never got to see that, which is crazy. The only thing I remember is that I got Jessica Jones. I think I got season 1 of Jessica Jones. I never saw season 2 or I think it was like season 3. I never saw that one. And then I never saw. I don't think I ever got season 1 of. I don't think I ever got season 1 of the Daredevil. So the problem, like I said, with having movies that come out, new ones, like new movies that come out from theaters or from Netflix or Hulu or something like that, most of the time they're never going to be put on DVDs. Just like how I've heard of people wanting this movie called The Barbarian. I think that's what it's called, The Barbarian, which was a horror movie with Justin Long. And it was never put on DVD either, which I think it came out last year or it came out 2 years ago. I think it came out 2 years ago, and people didn't watch it. I mean, the people that watched it, they wanted it on DVD, and it wasn't possible to get on DVD. So it's still not on DVD. It's still on streaming. So I've had that happen in the past. I've definitely had that happen in the past where I have a movie and then they upgrade it to a 4K version, and then it just doesn't make it to an actual physical media. It just stays as a digital only or streamable video. So let me explain. So there's a movie called Miss Doubtfire that I watched in DVD. Then after watching it on DVD, I watched it on Blu-ray, which I thought it was a huge improvement, Mrs. Doubtfire, from the DVD version to the Blu-ray version. And then somehow my version that I had, the digital copy, it just got upgraded to 4K. And surprisingly, even though I say that streaming videos or stuff that is not purchased from the iTunes store or from the digital media, the digital stores. Um, I was surprised. It was 4K, and it was completely clear. Like it looked like a completely different movie. The colors were the colors were way better, way better, vibrant, and everything just looked completely different. But then I have to admit, there's sometimes movies that you say, oh, Blu-ray. I mean, you start off from DVD, then you move from DVD to Blu-ray. It's like, oh, it's a huge improvement. Then you go to 4K, and it's like, how could they mess up the quality from the Blu-ray to the 4K? One movie that I've watched in every single format is Monsters Inc. That's the one. I've watched every single format. Hold on, let's see. Um, I'll have to be honest. Okay. I have to be honest, but Monsters Inc. I watched every format growing up. I watched the VHS, which was for its time was great, but if you watch that VHS now, you would say it's terrible. Then you watch the DVD version, and it was just like, it was decent, nothing to write home about. But for its time, it was great. But then you watch the Blu-ray version, and you're like, whoa, whoa! It's like you're watching it like crisp, clear, like the best they could ever make for that Blu-ray. But I think they do the best they can because it's Disney slash Pixar, that most of the time they have. I'm not going to knock them out when it comes to the quality. It's just incredible. But in terms of like the content they make, it's sometimes like, oh, it's like sometimes ill. Like, how could they do that? But like I said, the picture quality was incredible for Monsters Inc. Blu-ray. But then they came out with a 4K version that supposedly was at Best Buy, and I actually never got it. I actually never got it. I actually never got it because I never saw the I never saw the physical copy. Because sometimes there's movies that are gone in seconds, because sometimes Best Buy decides, oh, we're gonna put this movie out, but we're gonna put it for $5 or $5.99, so it's gonna run out in seconds, which is crazy. It's crazy how quick they run out when they put it like at $5 or $6, and then when you try to go get it, it's like, nope, there's no more physical copies. If you want a physical copy, maybe pay $30, $40, $50 for the $5.99 version. So that's all I was saying. So if is anybody on here to comment, to leave a comment or something, because it was great earlier when this dude was starting to comment. So does anybody have anything to comment other than we're talking about videos and content out there? I guess that's it. I guess that's gonna be it. And I'm drinking Sprite. I'm still not good from my nose, or I still have the flu. As you guys can hear, I still got the flu. It's getting better, but it's still there. I'm not taking medication because sometimes medication just like it can damage you on the long run. So I just think of letting it go out freely by itself, not by having my medication and hoping the medication can remove the sickness. Sometimes I don't feel like medication actually works. I just feel like it's just our body just fighting the sickness and showing that we can cure. We're healthy. So what else was I going to say? What else was I going to say? Oh, I was gonna say that on DirecTV, the issues that I had with DirecTV is that if you live in LA or you live in California, for example, you live in, like I said, you live in California, you turn on your TV with your antenna, your digital antenna, and you're able to watch all kinds of programming. And in cable, sometimes you would have to pay in order to watch that programming. The free programming that was on TV, you had to pay because they locked it out through a paywall. Okay, you had to pay extra in order to watch the programming, which was silly to me. Like, why would you have to pay to watch the free channels? It doesn't make sense. Just like there was all kinds of apps that where you could watch shows like Malcolm in the Middle. You could watch shows like Married with Children, like all those shows, like they were free when you have apps. When you go to the free apps, you can sometimes watch them and watch every episode with commercials, but at least you were watching it. And the issue with cable is that you had to pay extra in order to watch those shows that are free on other apps. And I do have to say, technically they're free because you're not actually paying them, but somehow you're making the money because they're selling your info that you watched the Brady Bunch, or you watched something that you watched something that was free. So you're giving them somehow you're giving them your data that you watched the Brady Bunch or you watched the Flintstones or something. So, like I said, you had to pay to unlock those channels, which is crazy. Because why would you pay to watch The Monk? I think The Monk, you could watch that on regular TV. I think you could watch I think you could watch all those shows for free on apps, the free apps, or on regular TV. You could still watch them. So that's it. I just took it off because I just felt like $180 for something I'm not using. It's like saying, that's like saying I have a gym membership, but I'm never going to the gym. Like, how is that any good? Having a gym membership but never going anywhere, never going to any of the gyms to exercise. Like, what's the point? So that's all I have to say. I really don't have anything else to say, but that's about it. So if you guys want to see another live stream sometime, you gotta let me know. And that's it. So thank you guys for watching. And this live stream wasn't that great because I haven't been on here for a while. I'm sorry. And that's about it.